Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. I haven't been feeling well today, so I've been napping, but I wanted to come on here and put some of these up for you guys. We are on video number 55 of Yahuah's redemptive story, the action Besorah. Jerusalem or Jerusalem Council, based on Acts 15:1-35 and Galatians. Like a violent wind, the argument between Jewish and Gentile Christians rips through the assembly. Paul and Barnabas and others from Antioch traveled to Jerusalem to speak with the assembly leaders there. The assembly in Jerusalem welcomes Paul and Barnabas. Everywhere we go, Gentiles believe in Yahushua. I am convinced that to Yahuah it doesn't matter if you are Greek or Jew, man or woman, rich or poor, because we are all one in Mashiach. Yahuah is showing his power both to Jews and non-Jews. Some of the believers had been Pharisees, experts in Jewish law. People who are not Jews or Yahudim must become Jews or Yahudim. They must obey the law of Moshe. Then they can become Christians. The apostles and elders meet to talk about this question. Not everyone agrees. Peter stands up to talk. Brothers, Yahuah chose me to take the good news to people who aren't Jews or Yahudim. He gave them the same Ruach HaKodesh he gave us. Why do you want to make it hard for them to believe? We are saved by the grace of Yahuah, by the favor of Yahuah, not grace. The Gentiles are saved the same way. There is dead silence in the room. The Jerusalem Council faces a question. Do Gentiles first have to become Jews or Yahudim and obey Jewish laws before they can believe in Yahushua? After arguments from both sides, James, the head of the council, stands up to speak. We've heard what Paul and Barnabas have said. We've heard Peter tell us that Yahuah loves people who are not Jews or Yahudim. Let's not make it hard for non-Jews to turn to Yahuah. The council agrees to a few important rules. Christians, both Jews and Gentiles, must avoid eating food that was sacrificed to false idols, and they must lead pure lives. The next journey, based on Acts 15:36-16:19. With this question settled, Paul and Barnabas go back to traveling and preaching about Yahushua. Let's make a trip to visit the assemblies we started. Good idea. I want to ask Mark to go with us again. No, Mark left us the last time. I know, but we should give him a second chance. Paul disagrees, so Barnabas and Paul go their separate ways. Barnabas takes Mark and sails to Cyprus. Paul takes Silas to visit the assemblies he started. Paul returns to Lystra, the city where he was stoned. The assembly has been growing, and Paul meets a young man named Timothy. Paul, I want you to meet Timothy. He's become one of our best young leaders. Timothy, never let anyone look down on you because you are young. You can set a good example for other believers. Timothy eagerly joins Paul on his journey. Soon the three travelers are on their way. Yahuah tells them not to follow the road of Ephesus. Instead, they go north and west until they reach Troas on the Aegean Sea. In Troas, Paul meets another new friend. Dr. Luke, the Adonim must have led you to join us here. I can't wait to travel with you and see what Yahuah will do. As the four missionaries walk the streets of the great seaport, I wonder where Yahuah wants us to go next. The Ruach HaKodesh will tell us soon, and I'll record all our adventures in my journal. Silas, Timothy, Luke, and Paul wait in Troas for the Ruach HaKodesh to give them new directions. There Paul has a vision during the night, or the Lila. Come over to Macedonia and help us. In the morning, Yahuah is telling us to take the good news of Yahusha to the people in Macedonia. We need to be on the next boat sailing northwest. A good wind speeds the 4 missionaries across the Aegean Sea to the port of Neapolis. From there they walk 8 miles to Philippi, a Roman colony. Paul's second missionary journey. It shows. It looks like they traveled quite a distance into many different places. I'll show you guys the map up close. And the red line shows where they traveled. Philippi has no synagogue, so on the Sabbath, the missionaries go down to the river looking for a place of prayer. Do you hear those women? They are praying to Yahuah. The missionaries join the worshippers. Soon Paul is telling them about Yahusha. A cloth merchant named Lydia speaks up. Yahuah has opened my heart to receive your message. I believe in Yahusha. Will you baptize me? Absolutely. Soon all the members of Lydia's household are baptized. Lydia invites the missionaries to make her home their headquarters while they are in Philippi. The Romans love purple. I sell most of my cloth to them. As you sell to them, tell them about Yahusha. Every day as Paul and Silas walk through the streets of Philippi, they see a sad sight. The poor girl is under the influence of an evil spirit. Her masters earn lots of money using her as a fortune teller. Finally, one day, you serve the Most High Yahuah. You serve the Most High Yahuah. In Mashiach's name, come out of her. Look, she can't tell fortunes anymore. Our business is ruined. Whoever that man is, he'll pay for this. He had no right to meddle with our affairs. Wow. Earthquake! Based on Acts 16:19-39. When Paul removes an evil spirit from a slave girl, her owners are livid because the girl can no longer tell fortunes. Their business is ruined. The owners drag Paul and Silas before the judges in the public square. A crowd gathers. These Jewish men are making trouble by teaching against Roman law. Yes, we all heard them. But silence. We will not tolerate trouble in our city. Give these men a beating and throw them in jail. See that they don't escape. After a severe beating, Paul and Silas are taken to jail. You'll pay with your life if these men escape. Midnight comes in spite of their suffering. Paul and Silas pray and sing praises to Yahuah. Suddenly, the prison foundation shudders. The walls twist and crack, snapping chains and hinges from the heavy doors. Earthquake! The jailer rushes down into the dungeon, sure that his prisoners have escaped. They're gone. I might as well kill myself. No, we're all here. Don't hurt yourself. Believing Paul and Silas caused the earthquake, the jailer falls down in front of them. What must I do to be saved? Believe in the Adonai Yahusha HaMashiach. In the middle of the night, the jailer takes Paul and Silas to his house and cares for them. He and his family listen as Paul tells them about Yahusha. Then they are all baptized. Early in the morning, word comes that Paul and Silas are free to go. The judges have ordered your release. We are Roman citizens. We were put in prison with no trial. Now the judges think they can get rid of us quietly? No. Tell the judges to make our release as public as our beating was. The Roman judges who ordered Paul and Silas released from prison are surprised when the officer returns with a message from the prisoners. Those men are Roman citizens. They demand that you come to the prison and release them as publicly as you punished them. They're Roman citizens? And we punish them without a trial? This could mean serious trouble for us. Forgetting their dignity, the judges go immediately to the prison. We're sorry for the shameful way we treated you. Now please leave our city to avoid further trouble. We forgive you and we'll leave today. Trouble in Thessalonica, based on Acts 16:40 through 18:11 and 1 and 2 Thessalonians. At Lydia's house, Paul, Silas, and Timothy say goodbye to their friends. Be brave, we will return someday. Hold on to your amunah, your faith in Yahushua. Thank you for leaving Dr. Luke here to help our assembly. Traveling on about 90 miles, the missionaries reached Thessalonica on the Aegean Sea. As he usually does in a new city, Paul goes to the synagogue to preach. The scriptures promised a Savior would come. Yahushua, who died on the stake and rose from the dead, is that Savior. Many people listen and believe, but as always, some Jewish leaders do not. We've got to get rid of Paul before he has the whole city believing what he says. He's staying at Jason's house. Let's get him. The religious leaders gather a mob and go to Jason's house. Give us Paul. We know you're hiding him. Paul isn't here. You can look for yourself. That night, Paul's friends help him escape. To escape their enemies in Thessalonica, Paul and his companions, Silas and Timothy, go on to Besorah, where they continue preaching. Unknown to them, the enemies follow. We've come to warn you about a Jew named Paul. He's trouble. Get rid of him as fast as you can. We'll take care of this immediately. But before the angry mob can find Paul, his friends help him escape once again. This time he goes to Athens. From there, Paul sends word for Silas and Timothy to join him as soon as possible. On the Sabbath, Paul preaches to the Yahudim and Jews on other days. He preaches to the Greeks in the marketplace. They invite him to speak before the court of Mars Hill. Paul accepts eagerly. Men of Athens, I've seen your statue honoring an Elohim you do not know. Let me introduce you to him. He is the one true Elohim who made all things, and he proved this by raising Yahushua from the dead. Nobody can be raised from the dead. That's ridiculous. I'm not so sure. From Athens, Paul goes to Corinth, where he looks for work. My name is Paul. I'm a tent maker by trade. I am also a missionary. I want to start a Christian assembly. Why don't you work with us? My name is Aquila, and this is my Asha, my wife Priscilla. Paul preaches in Corinth on the Sabbath and earns his living as a tent maker during the week. One day, Silas and Timothy arrive in Corinth with news that the assembly in Thessalonica is doing well. I'll write to them at once. Paul stays in Corinth for a year and a half. During this time, he writes another letter to the Christians in Thessalonica. Paul's first letters to the Thessalonians. I remember how joyfully you turned from your idols to serve the true Elohim. No longer do we belong to the dark of night. We are all children of the light of the day. Don't be like the rest of the world that sleepwalks through life. Live in joy, pray constantly, and thank Yahuah for everything that happens to you, good or bad. Do not worry, because we will meet Yahushua in heaven when we die. Paul's second letter to the Thessalonians. Our Adonai, Yahushua HaMashiach, will come back again, but that doesn't mean you can stop working in the meantime. If someone doesn't work, then that person doesn't get to eat either. Never get tired of doing the right thing. Before Yahushua comes back, a man of lawlessness who hates the truth will claim to be Yahuah. So stand strong and stay true to the teachings of our Adonai. so you will not be deceived. Next time we will be reading about the Corinthian court, Ephesian mob, falling asleep, and under arrest. Now it's time to praise Yahuah. Yahuah is with me. Yahuah is for me. Yahuah is greater than all of these things. If Elohim is for me, then who can be against me? Seek him, and you will find him. Knock, and the door will be opened unto you. Unto you. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No trap from the wicked shall prosper. No snare from the devil shall prosper. Yahuah knows who are his. Do your utmost to show yourself approved. Be ye not deceived by wolves in sheep's clothing, for in the last days there will be blasphemers and evildoers. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, children of Yahuah and the truth.